Hello there, pipe smokers. It's David Relson Mosley, the enchanted pipe smoker here. Coming to you on a cool February morning. It's going to warm up eventually today. But, well, let's just say this is a good time to sit outside and have a pipe and some coffee. Kids are in school, my wife's at work, I'm on break. So I thought I'd just make a kind of short video. I might make another one later today, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. But, well, first of all, this is just my first real opportunity to sit outside and enjoy a pipe in a long time. Too long. Where we live right now, it's not always been very convenient. We're out in New England, and well, obviously it gets pretty cold here. And so winter's not really a great time for pipe smoking anyway. This winter in particular has seen a cut down in time, just as my kids get older and are taking shorter naps or aren't napping as well, and so require more attention during nap time. It's been a little harder to find time to come sit outside. I can't smoke inside. And even on those rare occasions where maybe everything else aligns, the weather will somehow muck it up. Either it'll be raining or... Where we live right now, on this side of the house, I can sit and basically be out of everybody's way, which is nice. It's some privacy, not really. It's like a house right there, no fences or anything like that. It feels like privacy. People don't come out too often. But back here, the wind blows through here like something else. This little development where we currently live, didn't really think about that as they were flattening the land and putting up all these houses that they've basically just made a giant wind tunnel in the back here. And so when the wind blows, it blows. And there's no shade back here either. So in the afternoon, it's both incredibly windy, making pipe smoking difficult, and the sun is bearing down on you. And even in winter, that gets a little too warm. There we go. Sorry about that. Something in my mustache. Probably just moisture. It's a very foggy day today. I'll try and show that to you here in a minute. But anyway, and then on the front side of the house, it's relatively convenient. It's just a little difficult to get to the front porch, and then I gotta get a chair out and all these. It's a lot of hassle. It's not just pack your pipe, come outside, sit down, and smoke. Anyway. So today is my first real opportunity to sit outside and have a pipe. I think I've mentioned before to you all that I work as a teacher and actually as Dean of Humanities at a small private Catholic high school in Manchester, New Hampshire, and we are on winter break at the moment. That's why I'm able to sit here at, what is it, like 8:30, 8:45 in the morning and talk to all of you. And actually I'm still trying to decide how I'm going to spend my break. I've got a fair stack of grading for the school that I work for and for a university I teach for online. That has to get done by the end of the week. Still going back and forth on how much school grading I'm going to do. And it's because, so my kids will be in school all week, and this is going to give me an opportunity to work on some other things. I've got a couple of books that I'm working on, some papers I want to write, things like that. So we'll see. We'll see. Right now, I'm just taking it easy because a little later today, I'm going in for a pretty massive beard trim. Now, all of you, anybody who's watched regularly or who has watched old videos, which is probably not too many of you because I don't update very often. For those who have, you've seen me have various, at least slight variations on my beard over the years. Well, we had a poetry recital competition at my high school, and I put up as one of the prizes that the team with the greatest average score between the juniors and the seniors, so either the seniors and the juniors, would get to pick my next beard style. And what they've chosen is what's often called a Franz Joseph. Now, don't actually think of Emperor Franz Joseph. It's a little bit different than what he actually did. Basically, what he did, we'd commonly call the friendly mutton chops, slightly combed out, or it's really weird. It's almost like an a la Suvorov, where like it cuts off right here, and so it's everything around here is shaved, like everything below this line essentially is shaved off. What I'm going for more is so the chin's gone and the cheeks are mostly gone, and you leave this line down to the jaw on both sides. Anyway, it's going to be one of the silliest beard styles I've ever done, but I think I'll be able to make it work. I'm having that. Normally, I take care of my beard myself. I've always, since I was 12, when I first started shaving, I've been the person to shave, trim, cut my beard. I've never let anybody else do it. For the last, so that's about 19 years now. And for the last 10, 12 years, I've been cutting my own hair. So today's going to be my first time walking into a barber shop in, well, about 12 years. And the first time I've ever let anybody other than myself put any kind of cutting instrument to my face. But it should be fun. The kids, so basically when I go back to school, I'll wear that beard style for about a week. Shave down to just a mustache, which I've done tons of times, and grow the beard back out. So, a couple of things. One, housekeeping, which I haven't done yet. I am smoking Frog Morton Cellar in my Savinelli here. I have to admit, I'm not very up on the pipe world, but I have recently heard about Dunhill's cessation of operation when it comes to tobacco production. And that's sad. I've never been like a Dunhill person. I don't own any Dunhill pipes or anything like that. And admittedly, I can't do tobaccos with too strong of a nicotine content. And the few that I've had from Dunhill, like their nightcap and so on, have always been a little too strong for my tastes. In terms of nicotine content, flavor has been spectacular, but nicotine content always kind of hits me right in the gut. Not very pleasant. But I'm sad to hear that. And apparently there's something going on with McClellan's. That's news to me, and if any of you have any information about that and you'd like to share it with me, please do. I'd be very interested to know what's going on there, because I'm a huge fan of the Frog Morton blends. Like I said, this Frog Morton Cellar, and I just got 2 tins in. Frog Morton Cellar and just Frog Morton, I think. And so I'd be very sad to see that go. These are my go-to blends. So I'd be very sad to see that go. So if you know anything about the whole McClellan situation, let me know. So on the subject of pipe smoking and tobacco, as most of you know, I was received into the church last April, into the Catholic Church. And hang on. So I was received into the Catholic Church last April. Back in January, right, towards the end of January, so just a little over, around about a month ago, month now or so, I had a piece published in U.S. Catholic Today about pipe smoking and contemplation. So I'll put a link to that eventually down in the bucket. You guys can check that out. It's free for you all to read. So feel free to go check that out. I'd initially pitched it, they have a series about like prayer practices, and so I was trying to connect pipe smoking to prayer via contemplation. And they ended up not running it in that series, but they ran the piece anyway. And the responses have been really funny. You know, you've got people like us, your veteran pipe smokers, who will all recognize, yeah, you know, smoking a pipe, it makes me slow down, it makes me stop and think about things for a bit, especially when it's accompanied by, say, coffee or scotch or something like that. And then everybody and their mom coming out of the woodwork saying, I know someone who lost their whole jaw and they were pipe smokers, or I know someone who died yesterday and they were a pipe smoker, and, you know, you're killing yourself and don't encourage other people to kill. Anyway, it was so funny to me. Not people dying or getting cancer, things like that. I mean, this is a risk, you know, life is risk, and smoking tobacco of any kind and in any way adds to that risk. Now, I know a lot of you are broad tobacco users, and I'm not. Pipes and cigars, that's where I draw the line. I don't smoke cigarettes of any kind. I don't chew. I don't snuff. I don't do any of that. And I do often wonder, all these horror stories, how many of them are instances where, yes, the person smoked a pipe, but they also did chew. You know, where you're keeping tobacco just right on your gums. And like, yeah, I could see how that could potentially lead to jaw removal. And of course, I think about places like China, which have very low instances of lung cancer, and yet higher instances of smoking than we have. And so how much of it is genetics? How much of it is a crapshoot? You know, I wonder about all these things, and I'm not at all concerned. The only way I'm giving up this pipe permanently, well, this pipe in particular, I guess if it breaks, but the only way I'm giving up pipe smoking permanently is if I find out that I've got cancer. Then I'll give it up. Then I'll say, all right, I got to do what I loved for a long time, and now I'm done. Cancer or some other doctor's orders where that smoking will actively make me worse immediately, and not this whole supposed or possible in like 20 years I might die. It actually makes me think of some of you may follow Joffrey the Giant, and a few years back when Leonard Nimoy died, Joffrey did a video about Nimoy and how he was in his 90s when he died, late 80s maybe, I can't remember now. I think he was in his late 80s maybe, something. Anyway, Joffrey's listening to the radio and somebody was about to say if only he'd stopped smoking sooner. Now they stopped themselves, but they were about to say it. And Joffrey brought up the point, how much longer did they expect him to live? You know, let's say he was 90 years old. I mean, did they expect him to live another 30 years? Do you think he took that much time off of his life? Probably not. You know, and it's Lent right now. We've all got to go. We're all gonna die. Ash we are, and to ash we shall return. So I'm not too worried about it. But anyway, sorry. I've got that piece on pipe smoking. You guys can check out if you like. Well, this video's gone on for too long already, so I think I'll leave you all there. I may check back in later in the day when the beard has been changed. But until then, live in blessedness. And when you sit in peace with your pipe, think of me.